TTN-HD production live, here with writer, director, actor Tim DeVitt. How did you like being in the Bourne Legacy?
Bourne Legacy was fun. It was a big movie. I had a little part, you know, in a big movie, but you know, a lot of explosions and a lot of fighting and chasing, and it was fun. My scene was with Rachel Weisz, who was a really terrific girl, a really good actor, and it was a lot of fun.
And how did you get the part?
You know, they say it's not what you know, but who you know. Yeah. And I actually, a friend of mine is actually a producer, and he said, come in and read for this part, you know, so I read for the casting director, and she liked me, like that, so.
What is The Not Show?
The Not Show is what is my main focus right now. It's a web series, comedy shorts. It's about, The Not Show is about disastrous dates and other sexual misadventures. It's a comedy about sex and relationships and people trying to hook up and getting hooked up with the wrong people, and you know, I just think there's a tremendous amount of comedy in relationships and in people trying to get together. You know? So that's what we're working on. So it's a web series, shorts. They vary in length. They're anywhere from 3 minutes, or the short ones, and then 7 or 8 minutes of the long ones. Most of them are 4 or 5. So they're like bite-sized little episodes of excuse me. They're like bite-sized episodes of comic relationship comedy. Is essentially what it was. It's been described as a Love American style for the 21st century. You know? So it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it autobiographical?
Well, that's actually how it started. You know, I got well, it's kind of personal, but anyway, I was divorced a few years back, and then I started dating, and I had this group. I meet with a couple of other writers, 3 or 4 other writers, and we meet and we have coffee like every Friday when we can, when we're in town, and we just all started talking about, you know, the sort of wacky things that happen and how unexpected things are. You know, when you meet people, say, you know, you got to meet this girl, this woman, and you do, and you just think, this is really weird, you know. So anyway, so this group, we just started tossing around these ideas and thinking, you know what, there's a gold mine of comedy here, which a lot of people, which almost everybody identifies with, you know, because everybody, and when I talk about it, you know, I say to people, okay, this is my show, and it's about this and that, and everybody I talk to says, oh, I got material for you, you know. So that's the way it came to be. And then the other thing was that sort of, I was really interested. My background is in commercials. I did commercial. I directed commercials for a number of years, and wrote and directed and produced. And the idea of telling these stories in short form has always really interested me. And you know, the web is like the way to do it. You know, and the whole change over from, as I see it, a change over from the sort of regimented television and scheduled and 22 minutes, you know, hours, and all that's changing. It's all going to change, and it's sort of fun and exciting to be part of that change and to see where it's going to go.
What was it like for you to win an Emmy?
That was very exciting. That was very exciting, and it was. I produced a campaign for a public service campaign for the American Cancer Society. And it was totally unexpected that you know, they said, well, I was in New York at the time, and they had this, you know, the ceremony in New York, and it was very big for me. You know, it was very important. You know, and people in advertising like to say, well, you know, the really meaningful thing was when I worked on public service, I did something for cancer or for you know, refugees or whatever. And but there is a lot to that, you know. Because you really spend most of your time really trying to think about how can I entertain somebody at the same time, get the product message across and all that. But you know, when you sort of strip it down, you say, okay, can I say something that's going to make a difference to people? You know, so that was pretty nice.
Did you find it was very rewarding?
It was very rewarding. Yeah, very much so. And you know, it was a nice juncture of being able to say, okay, I can do something that's rewarding and makes me feel like I'm being of service, but at the same time, you know, it's in the context of advertising and television, and so it wasn't like, you know, way out of the mainstream, and that, you know, so we reached a lot of people with it, and that was good.
And you recently, a few years ago, made a documentary on climate change. How did you get involved in that? Are you a big advocate for the environment?
Well, I am. I'm an advocate I think that the idea that people deny climate change is really crazy. I mean, I just think it's so destructive. And one of my longtime clients in advertising got this contract to work on to write this film, and he asked me if I would work with him on it, and so I did, and it was really, really interesting because we got to interview, you know, union concerned scientists and Bill McKibben, who's a major environmentalist and a brilliant guy, and James Hansen from NASA, and some of the very big environmental people. And once again, you know, it's the kind of thing where you feel like, well, you can do something, and there's very little money involved, but you want to make a difference, you know. So as much of that kind of thing I can do is, I do.
And what do you hope to be doing in the future?
Well, I'm working on a couple of things. You know, I have a feature that I'm writing, and I would like to do it as an independent. You know, I like to do it as a small feature. I'd like to shoot it digitally and do it, outside of the studio system, and distribute it. I don't know how, because I think that's all going to change in the next couple of years. So that's where I'm going.
And where's the best place to find your work online?
Well, it's The Not Show on YouTube.com, and yeah.
And is there anywhere else that we can find more information on your documentary?
Well, I actually am, I hate to say it, but my website right now is sort of down because we're changing some things around. So, but there's on the Not Show the Not Show website. There's some biographical information there. So there's a lot of stuff. So.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Tim, and best of luck with the Not Show and all of your upcoming projects.
Thanks very much. Okay.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for TTN-HD Production Live.